I ran after the truck. No, just kidding.
With her Louisville Slugger.
No wonder they were going 50 miles an hour in the other direction.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting that when the cops showed up, which took quite a while, they weren't much interested in any details. They just said, hey, there's no victim here.
We don't care.
We're just gonna get a tow truck and tow it in. We're like,
and if that tree takes those lines down, well.
That's really weird,
because
it seems to me like you guys were the victims.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and I'm sure if anybody's dealt with the utilities in cities, they're like, let's push this off on somebody else. So I got PG out here because I'm like, I thought it was a power line, and they're like, that's not ours. Can you just cut that branch down so I can cut the rest? Nope, not touching it. Same thing with CenturyLink. Fortunately, the guy today's like, well, I'll move the telephone line for you.
but I'm not taking your tree down.
But I'm not cutting the branches. So, and I said, so if I just pull the tree down and takes your line down, that's okay? Yeah, go ahead. But let me call my boss. So he moved the line so he didn't have to like repair it.
Nobody wants to do anything these days.
No. They're like, hey, that's not our tree. Nope, if it breaks. It was just a very interesting, like, nope, it's not ours. Nope, not ours. Yeah. Even the cops kind of were that way a little bit.
Yeah. They're like, we got bigger fish to fry than a busted up car. The victim has just lost his car. And
yeah.
Like, it was kind of weird though, because I'm like, well, what if 2 miles away, these two cars that you've gathered no information on, the second car, were involved in something?
Yeah.
Well,
hi, Edie.
Hi.
Oh, that's mom next to you.
Carolyn, how was the rally? Did you get out in time?
Holy cow. I felt like I was on another planet.
Wow.
I barely got out in time.
Give us a little bit of.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
Something. Yeah, it was clear that Jeeps and small pickup trucks were the car of choice. And they just started parking and unloading and getting their flags out and strapping their guns to their thighs. And I was like, I gotta go.
Bye-bye.
Go. And everybody was, I mean, the kind of ironic, it's not ironic, it's not funny, it was unnerving, but they were there to rally for opening small businesses, and the irony of the whole thing was that everybody that is open, not every, there's just a few of us, were busy closing because of them. Get out!
Wow.
What's the message here? Oh,
yeah, and they blocked off the square that they had initially said they were going to try to rally in because it is private property, so they'd gotten some barrier up there, and it stayed peaceful apparently, and pretty heavy cop presence, and people, I don't know.
So were there any?
I saw a couple of pictures of people like want hair salons open, and but then there was an InfoWorks guy with a megaphone, and there was a some other stuff going on too, for sure.
People from out of state, I'm sure. People from not even from Walla
Walla. There was
Walla.
this crazy YouTube video I got on that was some woman that was, I was like, wow, I'm having a hard time understanding where I am right now, but she was filming the thing, and she was vaping while she was doing it, and talking to everybody about how, that government's just making that shit up about vaping, and it's fine, and it's like, wow. Oh boy.
Can you put it up on
Things about all the crazies.
She had her issue, huh?
Yeah.
Did anybody see the map of the cell phones that were at the Michigan State House, the guys with all the assault weapons? And then I don't know how they did it, but they basically followed, you could see the cell phone tracks of how far those people had come. There was a map of,
wow.
I mean, I'm from the Midwest, so maybe it was kind of a Midwestern news story, but like people coming from all over Illinois, Missouri, like all the surrounding states. So it's not like homegrown people from that neighborhood, right? It's, as I guess we knew, but.
Which is the same thing that happens in Portland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting thing to say, because, for Michigan, right? Because the governor said, hey, this is only a few people of us Michiganders, but it turns out like, oh no, actually then it's really kind of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. I'm surprised they were able to find that. Whoever found that tracking. I mean, was it somebody?
Yeah, it was whatever this. I think it was because cell phones had been used, to organize the event, and then they could somehow, note where these cell phones had been used otherwise, and you could see the map of all. I mean, it was a number of surrounding states.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have to look that up. We're from Michigan originally.
Oh, okay.
So we follow a little bit of that news as well. So
yeah, I'm glad that it stayed peaceful and people can say what they want. It's just shocking to me how unnerving I get around weapons.
Yeah.
Like,
no, when you see a gun like that, it is. I mean, we're open carry here in Virginia, and you go to places and people have their weapons with them. I mean, it's just. You can't, like, you can go into the state house and people are carrying weapons. It's insane.
Interesting.
It's insane.
It's really disturbing.
So terrifying.
Because I grew up in a military household. I mean, my father was an Army officer, and we did not have guns in our house when we grew up. My dad was very specific. Guns are for war. They're not for my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it weird. And my parents live in Virginia, so you're right. It's weird to go to see that.
And your dad probably knew how to use them properly, where most people are probably not spending that amount of time training themselves.
No, not at all. And you don't see that on military bases. Well, you didn't when I was growing up, unless you were the military police, and that was only manning the guard posts. It's different now.
But it seems like definitely a statement of some sort, whatever you're trying to convey. If you have to display what you're doing, I mean, on a march, like in Walla Walla, right? There's a statement there. But in Virginia, is it the same intention, or is it just like, I have a freedom and I'm going to exercise it? Like, but so unnerving.
Yeah,
it is unnerving.
Well, I talked to my sister in North Carolina this morning, and she said that the gun shops and the tattoo shops are now open.
Because those are the most important things we need right now.
Yeah.
Liners. Somebody's book. Okay.
Although I would like to overcome my cabin fever with maybe a new tattoo right around now. Anything. We spent the last hour contemplating where we could possibly go.
Yeah.
That's next. Shaving heads. Homemade tattoos.
Right.
She also said that she was talking to a friend who's also a healthcare provider, and she said that this is the stupid phase, because this is when everybody basically says, you know what, I know better than anybody who really doesn't know, but at least knows a little more than I, so I'm going to decide it's over and just go out. So everybody's being really stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
There was a great article in the New York Times today about the medical end of a pandemic versus the social end of a pandemic.
Oh, is that what you did? Is that what you sent to us?
No, I put the link with the cell phone data in there.
Okay.
But I'll see if I can find the New York Times story. Yeah. It's really an interesting.
No, because that's right. That's where it's getting to feel so interesting for me. It's like when what, the end of this, is it a medically, detailed stepping down, or?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, so this article actually goes back, and this is the one article that I've seen that actually goes all the way back to the Black Death.
Oh, wow.
And draws an analogy that if you think about it, the plague has never gone away. Yeah. Like, there's no medical end to the plague.
Yeah.
We've learned to live with it, right? And there's some really interesting analogies the author draws, because when you look at the history of the Black Death, right, it would come back in these cycles.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it ran its course among the rat population before it ran its course among the humans.
Oh, wow.
It's really wild. Yeah. But that may actually be the best analog to what we're dealing with, right? Yeah. Like a recurring cyclical thing. And we just, at some point, we decide, we're just gonna be okay with with old people and poor people dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is roughly what happened in the plague.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Evie, where are you headed? Are you?
We're going Sloan's driving. We're going to the farm store to get chickens.
Chickens?
Yes, chickens.
You have chickens?
Yeah. And we went to one in Vancouver today, but it was first come, first serve, and they were all gone. And then we were researching. What's that?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. Go ahead.
That's okay. Then we were researching. We thought we were going to have to get them like through the week, and we still will have to get them through the next week or two. But then we found this one in Lake Oswego that has a bunch of kinds we like. So anyway, that's what.
Oh,
it's still first come, first serve. So we had to like get in the car and go.
Yeah. Are you at the Wilco store? Is that where you went?
We're going. Yeah, that's where we're going.
That's just around the corner from my house.
Oh, really? Nice.
Hey, welcome to my neighborhood.
Thank you. We're almost there. 4 minutes away.
Yeah, I saw when I was there. Gosh, it's been weeks since they have a lot of different kinds of chickens, or they did.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
Exciting. Do you have your coop built already and everything, or do you have
the place for the brooder for them to be?
Yeah.
So we've got the brooder mostly set up, and then Mark's going to build a coop in the backyard, an actual coop.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's fun.
Evie, I'll volunteer to take any surplus eggs when they start laying. Because from what I hear, you're going to be awash in eggs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
How many are you getting, E.B.?
I think we're getting 4. We're supposed to have 3, but you're supposed to have a little bit extra in case one turns out to be male or dies.
Or dies, yeah.
So, so I guess we're going to go for 4.
Yeah.
So one of them is going to be a silky. I don't know if any of you know any about chickens.
I do. I know what a silky looks like.
Yeah.
They're totally natural looking. Yeah. So there are no silkies where we're going right now, but there are some Americana which make like different colored eggs.
Yeah,
their eggs are so good. My neighbor had Americanas for a while. They're beautiful. Their eggs.
Yeah.
cool?
Yummy.
Sure that you bury your chicken wire on the side of the coop. You use like railroad ties or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
We lost when I thought my coop was completely safe. It had one little spot, and they got in that night and shredded them.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Do you think raccoons?
What's that?
Do you think raccoons got them?
Either raccoons or opossums. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of our neighbors. Oh, go ahead. What, Chris?
They'll dig underneath, like she said. We had one here. We didn't have chickens, but whoever did, they put metal plates like a foot down into the ground all the way around, because whatever was digging underneath the fence to get to them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, rats will do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rats, a house that's about a half a block or maybe a block away has so many rats in their chicken coop. It's really gross.
Just bring them in at night.
Crazy. Yeah.
Just bring them in at night.
They do have chicken diapers.
Chicken diapers.
They do. It's a thing.
Or just lock them in so they're not like accessible, right? If you have something that lifts them off the ground in a cage that's lifted off every night.
Yeah, but they'll get in. I mean, you just have to make sure it's completely closed.
Seal.
In the yard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any little hole.
No.
That's fun. All right.